Okay, this is my 4.2 liter V6 in my '08 Ford F-150. I put this engine in about 3 months ago. Then one blew up. The metal heater line just totally broke off and dumped the water out and totally just ruined the engine. 340,000 miles. So I found this one used on Marketplace, low miles, different year. I had to change some stuff around on the intake and up, but other than that, it's the same. So anyway, right off the bat, I had a bad oil leak. I wasn't sure if it was the main seal because the car had sat for a long time. Had a bad oil leak. And I think, well, maybe it's the back of the intake gasket. So I was just kind of watching the level. I was going to change it out eventually, just didn't having that time, been super busy. Yesterday, getting out the freeway and I developed a dead hole. The rear cylinder on this driver's side was not firing. I started up and I look and there's a little crack in my exhaust manifold and the water's running out. So I'm thinking, great. It hadn't overheated, so I wasn't sure. I didn't think it was a head gasket. So I started thinking, well, maybe it's that intake gasket. So I went ahead and swapped it out. What you find here is that this rear water passage is blocked off. And so it's deadheading against there. It doesn't take much for it to leak past and get into the cylinder. So that's what happens because I fixed it and it works. So I'm gonna take you on this little adventure, show you how to do it. So first things first, unflip this, get a flat blade screwdriver, take that off. This thing comes off. This little green part is the clip on the back side. There's a little tab here. Just push that over, pops right off. Then I'm going to get a 10mm ratchet or wrench. Take these two bolts out. Should be able to move this out of the way without disconnecting them. I'm gonna do that now. All right, that's up out of the way. Those are loose. Spark plug wires are next. This loom is attached with this little plastic clip here. Just can get in here just between these two little things here and pop this top off. Pop this top off. You can get in here with a pick or something that undoes that. I'm gonna do the same thing over here on this side. I'm gonna leave that one connected just to keep the wires in order. Take that off. This vacuum line comes off. It's relatively easy. There's two water lines in the back. They gotta come off, and I'm gonna do that next. All right, now this vacuum hose over here, just a little squeeze clamp, pull that off. And this mechanism here, hot air supply for the, I guess, smog or whatever, two 10mm bolts. There's one on this side, one on the other side. This thing just unbolts. You can leave all this stuff connected. You should just be able to scooch it out of the way and still be able to get the manifold off. So I'm doing it next. All right, in the back here, another one of these that's in the front here. This is the bottom side. Now you can see about the green tab I was talking about. Just push that over and you gotta just get it off. Comes off there. And there's another vacuum line right here, this red one. This is just push on. So it just comes right off. I think that's all the hoses. All right, so we'll know here in a minute when I get these bolts out. So I'm gonna get a socket set to take this manifold off. One more thing before it comes out. On the very back, there's a wire loom that goes across the back. And it's taped to two little flat plastic clips that push down into a hole with a little Christmas tree on the back. So you gotta get back there and really just pull up on them. It'll either pull out of the Christmas tree or it'll tear the tape. In my case, the tape just ripped off. But that has to come loose before you pull the plenum off. All right, 8mm socket on a 1/4" drive, a 5" extension. You can run a 6" extension, but when you get in the back and you start loosening them up, and if you keep it on there, keep the ratchet on there, you're gonna bottom out and hit the bottom here before you get the bolt all the way out. So you have to start it, get it loose enough, take the ratchet off, finish it with your fingers. The tricky thing here is the first bolt here is up here. So as far forward as this first bolt is in the mechanism, in this whole setup, is as far back as that bolt is over there. There's 8 bolts total, 4 on this side, 4 on that side. These are offset to the front, those are offset to the back. There's a hole in each one of these right here. It's like a 1/2" hole, 1/4" hole, that means about 3/4" hole. Just go straight down in there and stay in this line. That back bolt is back there farther than you think. Okay, it's back there by that hose back there. There's another bolt back there. It's an 8mm bolt, but it's off to the side a little bit, holds the fuel regulator on. That's not the one you want to get. So if you're off and you're out of line, you're on the wrong bolt. There's 8 total. These bolts are captured, so they don't come out. They don't come all the way out. They stay in the manifold, which helps with putting it back on and taking it off and not losing bolts and hardware and stuff. So I'm gonna start unbolting this thing, see what's next. All right, I forgot to unplug the throttle, so don't forget to do that when you're doing the plenum. All right, so I'm gonna pull these fuel rails out. I'm gonna try to keep them together. So there's 4 mounting tabs, 2 on each side, 8mm bolts. I'm gonna undo those bolts, take them out, and see if I can't just pull these up, pop these up out of here. They're all put in by O-ring. Should come out as a unit. Hopefully there's nothing back here that'll tie me down too much to be able to just lift it up and be able to get to access to the intake. So that's next. Fuel rail out. Yeah, take those 4 bolts out. There's a main plug right here. It's pretty easy access. This pushes in, unlocks. This one here is a little tricky. Comes out of the back of the thing that controls the plenum. So it's facing backwards. It's in there like this. If you feel over that edge, this edge, there's a little edge just past that piece there. You can feel this little spring-loaded tab. And you just push that in and it should pop off. It takes a little bit, but you'll like say, feel over that edge. You'll feel that moving a little bit. Just give it a good squeeze and pull it up. So now do the coolant lines and see if I can get this manifold off here. And I think too, this manifold, there's 1,000 bolts in this thing. They're everywhere. You can miss them. Literally, there's 50 bolts in here. So we'll do that next. Hoses are off. Okay, 10mm bolts around the perimeter, 8mm bolts all down in between. There's the back on the back and down in the front. They're tucked down everywhere. So take your time, find them all. You probably won't, but you'll find them all eventually. So let's do that. All right, that one's tricky in the back. That one's hiding down there. The rest of them are pretty straightforward, right? You got 5 8mm small head. Then all these are, oh, there's another one there. Those are 8mm, they're longer. Then you got the short 10mm head ones on the outside. So that's that. New gaskets in. I glued the corners on this time. So put them back in. Another 2, I don't think I put enough torque on them. I don't know, they only call for 8 foot-pounds. That's not very much. But, so we'll put this back on and torque it down. All right, manifold back on. Just make sure you put some silicone or RTV at the seams or the joints where the gaskets meet. I think that's where my problem arose from. This gets torqued down in 2 separate torque increments. You start out with 4 foot-pounds and then go to 8 foot-pounds. There's a pattern you can find on the internet. Basically, it's just starting in the middle and working your way out and around. Do a full circuit of 4 foot-pounds and then a full circuit of 8 foot-pounds. You're not gonna find a foot-pound tool that's going to go that low. So what you need to do is go get an inch-pound unit times 12. So 4 times 12, 4 times 8. Then you probably can get that from the auto parts store. Be able to borrow one of those. Another thing too, before you put these back in, just make sure they're clean. Clean all the gunk off, the dirt, sand and stuff, and then lube them a little bit with some petroleum jelly or some light oil so they go in and you don't damage the O-rings. So yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this video. I hope it helped you out. I don't normally do these videos, but whenever I work on this thing, I'll make a video. I also do one on my wife's alternator on her car. But typically what I do is this bad boy right here. 1961 Ford Falcon Gasser with a 2016 Coyote with twin turbos. So check out the channel. If you like it, subscribe. And hope this helped you out. Give me a like. I'll see you on the next one.